All right, folks. Well, good morning to you from Guyana, from my lounge. So, just giving you a brief update on what's happening around here. So, good morning, good morning, good morning, folks. Welcome to my live or my vlog. Y'all know I um I always talk about repatriation and encouraging you to come back to your home country, and in my case, Guyana, to build and to develop your own countries, and not to stay abroad and work hard and continue to work relentlessly. And the bills are getting more and more expensive every time you turn around. So my encouragement is to come back home, go to your, get a land, build your home out of the pocket, and do what you have to do. Please don't go into more mortgages as you come back home. It's too stressful. You're trying to get away from the Western world of thinking in terms of always being in debt, to come into a place where you can feel that freedom. And so true freedom comes from not having all these attachments from bills and all the things that the Western world has taught us that is okay. Pretty much an enslavement to the master forever, because you're constantly owing somebody, you're constantly in debt to someone else. So I encourage you to come where you or go back to where you are free, and where you can literally build and be able to just have a good life. And I mean that for me, the second part of my life, I want it to be better than the first. So I am happy to be here. But anyways, reporting from my lounge, and this is Wednesday morning. It's a beautiful, beautiful day out. So let me turn this camera. It's nice and dry. It's not wet, but it's not hot either. It's very, very breezy. I'll take you around in a little bit to show you the yard for those people who haven't seen the space yet. But anyway, so this is the new building that is going up. This is a 40 by 20 building, or 20 by 40 building. We've already put up all the post blocks, so I'll walk you through my process. So first thing is, it's floating, not something that I actually desired. I really wanted them to dig down about 2 feet to lay the foundation, but remember, there was already concrete there, but we could have broken it and still go down. That was my thought. But once they told me about how the spot base will be built, and the fact that it will be firm, and they have steel both at the bottom within those little square blocks, spot bases, as well as coming up, protruding through the actual post blocks. And it's really firm foundation. But the other thing is that I'm also going to be creating rooms at the bottom there. So of course I have to, kind of backfill it and put cement, so that will make it even firmer, which is going to be good. So once again, this is a 40 by 20 building. So far, to put up the blocks, the guy's charging me for the entire building $850,000 that he's charging us. That is about $4,000 US dollars, $4,010 or something like that in US. However, I could have gotten it done cheaper, but I know this guy's work, so I wanted to go with him. He's a good joiner, he's a good carpenter, and since it's a wooden building, I wanted to go with him to make sure that it goes correctly. So all these buildings were built by different people. But so far I'm happy with just about everything. There are still some things that could be done to this particular structure, which is the bottom of it. It needs to, well, actually there's some play when you're walking on top. So, my uncle had told me to have the guy come back and put in, I think it's by 2 by 6 or something like that underneath. I did put 2 sets of it, but it obviously needs another set. So you can literally hear the floor move when you're walking. So that's not something that I desire. So, but since the rain, I haven't really been having events up here anyway. So I decided to just let it sit. But I'm going to the lumber yard in a little bit. I think I'm going to just pay for those 2 by 6, 9 feet, two pieces of 9 feet, 2 by 6 is what I need. All right. So pretty much, like I said, he's charging me $850,000 to do this building. So, but the material so far that I have, this is just a put up the structure. This is not like the floorboards or anything like that. So to put up the structure, I have spent so far, let me see, that would be a total of, for the post blocks, I paid $600 for one, or $500 for one post blocks. I needed about 130, so you can multiply that. And then I ended up, cement. I bought about a combination of 20 bags, I believe it was, 18 to 20 bags. So those are $1,800 per bag. I bought 9 in the beginning, then I had to buy another 9 more because they had to backfill all of the post blocks. So the backfilling is what needed the extra 9. The sealing of the structure of each of the post blocks as well needed an extra 1, but I still have 2 left over. So that's a good thing. So first, let me just give you in terms of the logistics. I'm going to walk you down. So here is where the builder and I went back and forth. Once again, this platform here, before I thought about it, it wasn't as strong, because even when they built it, I don't think that we didn't put in any BRC. So therefore there's some weakness in the floor. So that was one of my concerns, right? And then again, there is no steel at the bottom of it, right? So that is another concern. So therefore, what's happening, and of course, the cement has given way. But what they did do is, again, they really created some solid blocks. But once again, I am going to come on top of this and I'm going to backfill it, and then I'm going to cement. So creating a base, right, is what I'm going to do. So that's going to help sturdy everything together. Now, this is where you have to watch these contractors. So in the beginning, what he wanted to do was to basically bypass sealing these blocks, these post blocks together, just to come in and throw the cement in. This is because I think he wanted to hurry up and get my job done. So you got to be careful with people. This is why I say you got to be here when your things are going on. I'm like, no, we're not going to do that, because that's just wrong. I told him, I said, it violates any kind of code and violates any kind of building ethics. That's not right, right? I mean, I'm sure people can do it, but when you're talking about going up this high and then trying to throw cement without sealing these blocks to stay steady. I mean, if it shifts, if it, whatever, however it seals, right? That means that when the cement go in, if one is twisted, if one is out of place, then therefore, I mean, to me, just just do the math and do the science, and it just makes sense. And I'm sure, if you had the right kind of, machinery, you could possibly do things like that. But when you're talking about just doing things manually, I don't trust that. You can just throw things in there and it'll be fine. And the thing about it is that nobody says anything to you about these things. But I know that my builder of the other building, which you're looking at, I knew that he sealed every single block, and that's a much smaller building, and it's also a much it's not as high. So why would you want to come and give me a building that is way higher, a lot higher than the other one, right? And on top of that, a lot bigger, way bigger, is double the size. Why would you want to, bypass sealing all these blocks together? So I told them absolutely not. That is not going to happen. So I made them come and do the sealing. In fact, the first contractors left because I think they were in disagreement. Because remember, I contracted someone and he subcontracted the guys to do the concrete, because he doesn't do concrete, he does wood. So they left. Don't know why. They haven't explained exactly what happened. They just came and collect their tools, and that was it. So I didn't ask any questions, and I really, this is just a part of Guyana building process. People will just pack up and leave your job if they feel cheated, if they feel whatever. And when you have hired a contractor and you're paying them, then however they deal with their subcontractors is up to them, right? But anyway, he got somebody he didn't seem to worry about it because he was already paid, something that I promised not to do. But we wanted him to, well, I wanted him to have the money before the weekend, and that way he doesn't have to run around on the Saturday. But then he seemed really relaxed once he got the money, so I had to get on him about it. And I told him, listen, I don't like giving money up front before a job is done. So at the time when he had already gotten 25% down, the only thing that was created was a spot base, and not all of it, because these three got created afterwards. So basically he had all the money in his hands. But I worked with him before. He worked with my mom before, so I knew he wasn't running anywhere. And also I knew I could go to the cops because I sent it Western Union, and you have proof. This is one of the reasons why I work with sending the money Western Union. I don't give anybody cash unless it's minor, little things, $5,000, $10,000, even $100. Sometimes, I'll take the chances. But then with the $100, what I'll do is divide it. Okay, you got my job to do. It costs $20,000. I'll give you 10 to make sure you start. I'll give you the other 10 when you show up. Or sometimes I give 8 just so I can have the majority of it with me, because I just know that once you have most of it, they'll come back quicker. All right, as soon as you give them half, they feel like they need to just take the entire lifetime to give you your product. It's crazy. Anyway, the other thing is that so he hasn't come back yet to even check on the blocks, to see how it's done. So I'm looking at him like side eye at this point. Like, that is not cool, because these blocks went up about four days ago, and he hasn't shown up since, because he doesn't have to put on his wood until tomorrow. He's starting tomorrow. Now, another logistical problem. This wire here. Now, tell me why they ran it right across my venue. Don't know. I was so happy to get lights after so many months of waiting that honestly I didn't think about it at the time. But when I saw them doing it, I was like, is this the only way? I mean, literally they needed to put another post, stake it outside, and then, come back inside, maybe over here. Okay? So, so the other post would be behind this kitchen right here, and on the other lot. And then closer to over here, and then of course you could come straight over here and connect to over there. So now I have to get this entire wire moved, which is going to cost us more money to do so, right? So I'm hoping that once the guy puts up the post, the final one of the beams, well, actually I don't know if it's a 2x6 that needs to go up there. If when he puts up the 2x6 and the very last post block, then I'm hoping that can attach to, or the wire can just attach to the building, lift it up higher, because it has a lot of belly on it, and then that way it can, I can eliminate trying to pay for all this extra stuff, at least for now. Eventually I'll still move it, but if I can avoid the extra money, because it'll cost me $30,000 for the pole, and then it will cost me $5,000 for him to come and fix it, and then I still have to buy wires. So if I can just put it to attach it to the building, as my husband was telling me, suggesting that we do, I think it'll be much more better at this point, because you have money to spend on other things that you need to get done, not things that it's already done and you have to redo. And as I watch vlogs in Ghana and so on, and different places, as people build, they say the same thing. Redoing is just really a lot of things you have to redo, because contractors do dumb shit. They do. And it's just really, really sad, because they don't think about your pocket, right? Now, this is not a contractor that did this. This is a city, that is responsible for doing this. And those guys should have known better. But, of course, they don't want to give another pole, because I paid for the wires. The wires cost us over almost $5,000 to get the wires from all the way on the other side to, towards the building. So I ended up getting 3 posts from them for free, but everything else I paid for. So all those wires running all the way across. I don't know, you probably can't see them, but there are 3 sets of wires, and every dime was spent. And of course they don't give you no discount, right? I've complained about this before. Anyway, so that's what. So then logistically, he didn't know I was creating rooms at the bottom. So once I explained that to him, so these spot bases were created last because he wanted to put all post blocks, but that will get in the way of me actually being able to create my rooms the way I want to. So what we decided to do is go with the 6x6 in the center, right? Because we already have the post blocks, several post blocks, 12 of them, but we were supposed to originally have 14. So now these blocks here, or these spot bases here that you see, those will actually be post 6x6 that are going to be projecting up to reach the ceiling of the building to help retain it, of course, or making sure that it doesn't, it has balance in the center. All right, so that's what's doing with that pole. Of course, I have to move it. That's where my lights were across the venue. I took them down yesterday so that these guys can begin to work tomorrow. And it was too dark last night, so I just called one of the contractors to come back and redo redo those lights, at least put back up one set of lights, so that way I can run it from side to side instead of across. But once the building goes up, or once some of the posts goes up, I'll be able to kind of create a triangle as I had before, because then my husband told me we should just attach it to the building rather than trying to get another pole. So, and that's something that I was struggling with, because I'm like, well, where do I move the pole and put it to, because most of the space is taken up. So now we can just drop it towards the building. And there are going to be, sockets that are going to be left out, but I'll just have those dangling. I just won't put any lights in it. But if it could run through the building without a problem, on the up top of the towards the roof, I'll probably end up hanging it somewhere there once the building is done. But in the meantime, I'll hang it on the posts. All right, so pretty much that's what's going on with that. So I was saying the wood cost me, what much did it cost us? It cost us about maybe about 500 US so far. Yeah, because it was 70,000. No, probably about, no, I'm sorry. The wood so far has cost us about 1,500 US so far. Because we spent 7 recently, and then prior to that we had spent 9. So 9, 10, 11, about $1,500, yes. 15 to a little bit more than that, because I'm not giving exact numbers. All right. Okay, $1,500 to $1,600 is what we spent on the wood so far. We still have to spend 239,000 Guyana dollars on the floorboards, and then another 279,000, I believe, on the 26-inch zincs, 28-inch zincs. So that is an extra, I believe, $2,000 for one of them, a bit over 2,000, and then the other one is close to like 2,600 or so. All right, so give you an idea of how much this building is going to cost us. But the reality of all of that is that money has to be spent. And, you got to take your time and do things. But this needs to be up within 6 weeks, because it's my husband's 50th birthday and we don't have time to really just go around the bush with this. So it's going to be up. So you'll be seeing an update. All right. So here goes the nice breezy. The wind is blowing nicely. It's the morning. It's probably about 8 o'clock at this point. Yep, breeze stopped a little, but anyway, it's still a nice day. So I don't know if you guys have ever seen the outdoors bathroom. I picked this, it's good to be patient. So let me just give you a thought. Sometimes things seems dried up. Sometimes it seems like life wouldn't work. Sometimes it seems as though, you should give up. And I want to say, give up on your dreams or your hopes. Just this plant, I was just showing you. I picked it along the tracks, and I said, okay, I'm going to just plant it. And I kept looking at it, and I'm like, oh, it just looks like it's leaning. It looks like it's, even though I dug it deep enough, it just looks like it's going to die. So maybe I should just pull it out and throw it away. kind of like what we do with ourselves sometimes. We have these wonderful ideas, and we think it's not going to work, so therefore what we do is we give up on our dreams, we give up on our hopes, and we move on because we've gotten too old, or well, that's really definitely a Guyanese thing, I would say, where people think, or the Caribbean thing, where people think they're too old for things. In the US, we know better, right? So we will keep pushing, and it doesn't matter how old we are, we can accomplish anything that we want. But anyways, sometimes we still, it doesn't matter where we are, we give up on our dreams and our hopes in doing things because of whatever life circumstances offers. But I have to tell you that I kept looking at this plant, and I'm like, okay, it's gonna lean, it's gonna fall, it's dried up, it's just bent over. And all of a sudden yesterday afternoon, I saw it starting to lift up, and the leaf started to bloom again. And I'm like, just a little patience, just a little bit tender care, just a little bit, love, and it will be okay. Right? So don't go giving up on your dreams. Don't go giving up on your hopes. Right? I mean, people say to me all the time, especially because I teach, they say they didn't see this coming. They didn't see that I would open a venue and all that stuff. But keep in mind, sorry, I'm getting into the dark area. Yeah. Keep in mind that, I wanted, I'm in wedding planning, and I thought about getting my own space in the US. And I thought about the amount that it will cost me, to about $12,000 a month just to rent a space. And it's something that I really wanted to do, but of course you have to think about finding that $12,000 if you don't get customers to come in, and you're in trouble. Within no time your business can sink. So what do I do next? I create my own venue. Someone say, when if you don't have a seat at the table, bring your own darn seat, right? Was that Shirley Chisholm, right? Bring your own darn seat. So that's what I did. I pretty much didn't have a seat at the table in terms of a venue, and in the US. And I said, okay, I'll do my own space. All right. Just like how I feel like as though, I wanted to get certain places in education, and I didn't get there because of, politics or whatever it is, wanting to really grow in the area, but, pretty much just not feeling fulfilled where I was. And you know what? I'll build my own darn school. That's what I'll do. I'll build my own school, because in my own, higher level learning school. And that's just what I'll do. Okay? And I can do it. I know I can. Right? So I have no doubt. So you just have to hold on to your dreams. And it doesn't matter if it takes me 10 years to get to that other goal, I'll get to it. Right? With health and strength, I'll get to it. Leave a legacy behind. All right? So pretty much that's my little analysis. All right, so let me turn this back around. All right, so this is in case we haven't seen it, I do come in here today. I opened it up because the breeze is so nice. I like to open up the place or the space and air it out, so you can see bush growing through from the outside. So generally I have to get the guys them to come in and kind of pull it. And the guy told me the other day to get something that will burn the grass in the back, so that way they don't grow back, because they keep protruding through. Right, so here we have music, so that when customers come they can hear it. So those things haven't been quite hooked up yet. Yeah, so this is pretty much the male bathroom. No, it doesn't get used because everybody uses upstairs, but this is for when I have events on the outside, like I have a wedding coming up, so this will be their space to use. Still have to get a urinal up, haven't done so yet. Got to get a plumber to do it, because the plumber that I have keeps saying he doesn't know how to do it, so he doesn't want to take the chance. So we'll try to get someone whenever we're ready. It's not a big deal, or maybe it is a big deal for the men. My cousin has to come pick up the suitcase today because it's just sitting here, so it's gonna be there. But anyway, this is the ladies' bathroom. There we go. Hi. Oh, hello. All right, so I'm trying to design it a little. I haven't done much out here, to be honest with you. I bought this little thing the other day for like $2,500. Don't think it was worth it because it's not even covering. When I go back to the lady, it's not even holding on to cover. Like, literally, you can, like, it could just be lifted up. I mean, I thought it was going to be held down, and nope, it's just popping up. So I'm gonna go back to the market and I'm gonna complain, and hopefully she can exchange it to me for me. I'm sorry. Yeah, so pretty much that's it. So I'm always trying to do things around here. All these furnitures are broken, so I'm waiting on the welder to come by and weld them for me. I need them for an event, that wedding that's coming up. These here, I am trying to use them as little, well, I have some ply boards. I want to get them painted, but a lot of the wood is probably not good because it sat in the water throughout the rain. So I don't know what I'm going to do. I'm going to have to observe and see what's happening with it. But if it's good, I'll use them. If not, my husband is sending in a bunch of them, so I'll be able to use those instead. But if I can save these, I will. Because I think some paint, as long as the structure is healthy, some paint and some, just putting on the plywood and putting on some feet. So I want to use them as actual, what am I thinking? Sorry, guys. Yeah, I'm not thinking at all, actually. Yeah, but I want to use them as actual tables so that I can do these little, I'm thinking picnic at the beach and picnic at Bucktown, and even in the yard space, maybe in the evening hours, do kind of like a Chinese style folding feet kind of thing for people who are interested in that kind of sitting and eating kind of style. So I build it up high enough so that they can be able to put their feet under, and also to be able to sit on rugs or carpet or pillows or whatever. Anyway, you're just beautifying the space a lot more in a soft spot, though, not under hard concrete, obviously. Yeah, so anyway, my plants are coming along good. My garden is really bad right now. The mint tree died. Don't know if it's supposed to do that, but my husband's pepper tree is going good. All these are extra stuff that I usually have for my party. Things that have broken or things that I really don't want to use. I just kind of put it for, eventually I'll get to where I fix it up appropriately. And this area is just growing. Because of the rain, it's just growing. So I have to come over here and clip things and kind of fix it up and do what I got to do. Anyways. Okay. This camera is pretty dark because the battery is dying, but thank you guys so much. I'll see y'all soon, and thank you for joining me. I have to go to the lumber yard to finish paying for these woods and then get them delivered. They have them ready, unlike the last set that was really bad in terms of the time period. All right, so take care. Love you guys, and I will see y'all back here. Okay, soon. Bye-bye.